Well, the action is heating up. It is just about to match the temperatures of the Las Vegas sunshine as we are getting ready for an exciting UFC 303. This is Extra Rounds live from UFC Fight Pass, and we are inside the belly of the beast. T-Mobile Arena, it is the site of UFC 303. Hey, everybody, I'm TJ DeSantis, along with Pearl Gonzalez. We got Jens Pulver, B-Mac, Brandon McCatherine, all hanging out, and it has arrived. The final objective about to be completed of UFC International Fight Week. Guys, how we doing?
Oh my God, what an incredible week this has been. How exciting has the show's been, International Fight Week, the Expo, and now we're here. I am at a loss for words, but how amazing this experience has been for me personally. I love you, TJ.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Jens Pulver, can you hear okay? Too loud?
No, I can tell you all are talking. I don't hear anything in the headset. But
you don't hear anything in the headset?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Y'all hear me pretty good?
Yeah.
No, I can hear y'all talking, though, for the most part.
Weird.
I got a struggling right ear, so we'll see what happens.
What happens when I do this?
I think that's what makes my headset go.
Too loud?
There it is. yeah.
You good now? Can you hear?
No, keep going.
No? This one? Hey.
That's me.
That's you. All right. I don't want to ruin your ears. What's that one? That's yours?
Yes.
Okay, so this one's got to be
There it
yours.
is.
There we go.
Right there.
Process
There
of
it is.
elimination.
Got it. Yes.
That's how it
that
works.
I like it.
All right.
That's how you all sound. There you are. Okay.
We can't even get the Hall of Famer a pair of good headphones. I apologize, Jen.
Oh, you're golden. You're golden.
We're asking
Well,
double work of you
chaos.
two tonight as well. You're going to be doing the watch along from this very spot inside T-Mobile Arena. You're always pumped to watch fights, and now
I
you're
know.
doing it in the building.
I get to do it live. This is crazy. I didn't think it would ever happen, but yeah, I mean, 4 years in the making. I'm so used to being in my cubby hole and having the monitors and everything this way, but this is pretty exciting. I'm not lying. This is really cool.
Yeah, B-Mac, this is your first time out here with Extra Rounds.
Yeah, this is way bigger than a jiu-jitsu show.
It is.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the vibe has been, gaining all week as we've gotten ready and closer to UFC 303. And we've got a main event for the ages. It's a rematch. And, it's one that when you hear the word rematch, sometimes people go, I don't know if we necessarily need to see it. Both of these guys have done enough since they last met back in November that this feels like a completely different fight for the biggest stakes in the world. And, Jens, I'm curious, you're the Hall of Famer. You got that gold jacket at home. Alex Pereira is going to get that jacket one day as well. But he's writing a legacy, and I think that he's doing everything right. And the main thing that he's doing right is when he picks up the phone and goes, yeah, sure, I'm your guy.
I love
you
it.
Need
Just
me? I'm your
stay
guy.
busy. Let's fight. I'll knock him out. Line him up. I'll knock him down. And he's literally been that guy. You put him in front of me, I'll drop him. I keep thinking he might be a 3-weight world champion at some point.
Right.
We're talking about that, winning in heavyweight at some point. But right now, again, he's powerful. He is on a roll, and he's top of the steps. From the minute he walked into this game, in the UFC, he's been destroying everything.
Yeah, he's so comfortable in that spotlight too. And Pearl, we've seen champions occupy that space. Some don't register with the fans the way they want to, but Shama, he does it. Alex Pereira is a fan favorite for good reason. He shines inside the octagon and outside as well.
Absolutely. He is an extremely hard worker, and for as hard as he works, he's humble. And I think that the most beautiful thing about Alex is if there is any man that can make the impossible possible, it is Alex Pereira. He comes in, he takes risks, he sits in the pocket, he's willing to get, as we've seen, knocked out, to throw shots and put someone out, and that is what makes him this exciting magic.
Yeah.
So I think that those pieces to his puzzle, aside from all of his kickboxing experience, he comes in and we talked about this, the cheat code with Glover Teixeira. His grappling is improving tremendously every single day. He's such a hard worker. I'm excited. I wonder if he grapples tonight.
We're going to find out. B-Mac, what do you think? We're going to see Poetan hit the mat and show off that BJJ?
I mean, I don't think we're going to see him choose to take it to
Right.
the mat and show off that BJJ.
Wow.
But, man, I sort of feel like everybody's sleeping on Prohaska.
Tell me about it. Tell me how he wins if he gets it done.
Listen, we talk about Glover Teixeira. He put Glover Teixeira out
That's
in
right.
the grappling. As soon as they got to the ground right there at the end, he was able to make it happen. He was able to make it happen fast. He's able to make it happen from an unusual position. And that's the great thing about Yuri Prohaska. Just like with his striking, all of his grappling comes from an unorthodox position. It comes from a place where it's very unexpected sometimes. And he can push himself into places where most humans can't go. Just that psychology that he brings to the table. If he brings that onto the mat, I mean, you never know.
See, now that, if I may, that's what I've been excited about and talking about this whole time is exactly that. What is Yuri going to do? We know, I think, what Pejeda's going to do. He's got explosive hands. But I'm curious what Yuri's going to do this time around. Are we going to grapple? Are we going to pummel, dirty box, get in there and grab a hold of him? I'm curious to see what Yuri does.
I feel like he's got to close the distance, right? Like if he stands out there and lets Pejeda get him with that long range, he's not going to be a long night. It's going to be a short night.
100%.
Well, I do think, though, that Prohaska has incredible striking at his range. He
Yes.
comes in with these unorthodox strikes. It's under, over. He doesn't really come in clean and straight. And that was a problem in that first round against
right.
the two in the first fight. So I do think he has success. And at the end, it's just when it's that power in the Poatan's hands.
One punch. It's hard. You're fighting a one-punch hitter. You know what I mean?
And he's so accurate. He's so accurate with his shots.
And
That's
straight
what
down the
makes
center.
Yeah.
straight down the
It's
center, and then he
something.
goes right around with that left hook, and it's so dangerous, along with the kicks. The kicks landed every single time against GD in that last fight. He did not stop them. If we looked at his last fight, he didn't stop those kicks that were thrown at him in his last fight. So did he solve that problem? That was a big issue in that first round, in that first fight against these two.
Another thing I think that Prohaska has going for him tonight is the activity. You know, his last fight with Poatan, he was fresh back off that long layoff, the injury. Now he's coming off the win at 300, been active. And, you know, Jens, this is a game of not only what have you done for me lately, but how long has it been since your last performance? And both of these guys incredibly active. You got to think that both of them are at their best coming into
the
tonight's fight.
the momentum roll, keeping it going and feeding off of that and building and building and building. Like I said, the changes that they'll make in the process of what they already were. They're already great fighters. What little changes will they make for this adjustment when they fight each other again? And then again, they're coming off that high note. So yeah, it's awesome.
And I talk about the personality of Poatan shining through. Prohaska is a fan favorite as well. B-Mac, he's a traditional martial artist in many ways that a lot of his peers aren't. And both of these guys have very unique personalities. They're hard not to fall in love with.
Well, Prohaska is a traditional martial artist in the sense that he hails from another dimension, like from another time. Like he's tapping into his ancient ancestors kind of into traditional martial arts. And I think that gives him this incredible sense of like warrior that a lot of people just don't bring in to the cage. But Poatan does, because he does the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that makes these guys so relatable from like the almost like the romantic martial arts sense. Like it's easy to fall in love with their samurai spirit.
Yeah, 100%. And like that's the thing too. Like I'm not necessarily cheering for a Prohaska win, but I feel like these guys are turning out to be pretty chief rivals of one another. And if we do see a Yuri victory, this is going to be a trilogy. You know, this is going to be a fight that I mean, even if it is a quick fight once again, either way, I feel like these two are similar to, say, Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo. Anytime they're matched up, I want to see it.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of like the Izzy and Poatan, right? Like
Absolutely.
we can watch that anytime.
Right.
And the thing that makes this so exciting, they both took this fight on short notice, so that makes it so exciting. Both of these dudes are like, look, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's see what happens. I mean, both of them obviously respectively are training extremely hard, but both have had 2 weeks to prepare for this second meetup. I love this. I love everything about it. It's risky for both fighters.
TJ DeSantis, Pearl Gonzalez, Jens Pulver, Brandon McCatherine hanging out inside T-Mobile Arena. Jens, you got double duty tonight, working the pre-show as well as the watch-along. We're going to get you out of here in just a quick second, but I want to pick your brain. Something on the card that you want to talk about before we get you out of here. What are you looking forward to the most?
He's fighting right now. 40-year-old Cub Swanson.
Yeah,
I love him
incredible.
to death. And against Feely, I'd love to see him just keep going. I love it. Love it.
I mean, Cub Swanson going back to, you know, your days in the blue cage and the WEC. It's crazy that
What
he's
a
still
career.
here and putting on a show. And that's the thing. Anytime Cub Swanson takes the octagon, we're not talking about like, oh, it's a great story. He's still competing. He's still a savage. He's a beast of a man. And he's in there with another guy who isn't afraid of a fight in Andre Feely.
He's still competing, but he's still competitive. That's the thing.
Yes.
He's not just out there drawing a paycheck. He's still out there trying to win, and he's in the mix every time.
He's having fun.
It's going to be hard for me to talk about anything now that this fight is going on. This is the one that I want to see the most.
Gangsters. These are
Absolutely.
two California gangsters. I love this fight. I love this fight for both of them. They both need this. They both have similar characters. I love it's like they're not gangsters, but they're like Vato Locos, like Cali guys. You know what I mean? They got that swag to them.
And I remember talking to Feely when this fight was announced, and I said, is this going to be a T-Mobile fight or is this going to be in the Apex? And he said, a fight like this with me and Cub, it has to be in a big arena. And I'm happy that it's here. You know, it's got that big fight energy, and it deserves that big fight crowd.
100%. I love it.
When you fought Jens, did you hear the crowd a lot?
You know, like I said, I really took the time to enjoy it when the show started. When the first fights came on and stuff like that, I really enjoyed when the crowd came out there, when the main show started, just kind of sitting there and embrace it for a minute. But when you get out there in the fight, it's like just this hum. There's this humming going on. And then you're focusing, you're doing everything you can to focus on your corner and pay attention and thinking inside, like, all right, I'm working on this. But then when there's punches, you can hear the, I'm like, oh, man, he's scoring points or I'm scoring points. And then you can really hear when it starts to raise up. And then, of course, when there's a finish and just boom, everything blows up. You just, wow, yeah, it's crazy.
I'll ask you, B-Mac, anything else on tonight's card that you're looking forward to?
Ortega.
Yeah, co-main event.
I'm looking for that grappling match between him and Lopez.
You would love it if they both just, got down, started 50-50.
I'd probably be the only one who would, but I probably would. You're right. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an incredible grappling match. Everybody's super high on Lopez's jiu-jitsu, and rightfully so right now. He looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out there.
Yeah.
He's out there taking care of business every time business comes to find him.
Yeah.
But man, Ortega's jiu-jitsu, I feel like his jiu-jitsu might be of the highest caliber of anybody in the UFC, like the whole roster, top to bottom.
Right.
His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal, and I think if they do end up on the ground, Ortega might have something for him.
Yeah, we've talked about the impact of Poetan and what he's done in a short amount of time. Same can be said for Diego Lopez, though. He's only been in the UFC for a touch over a year, lost his first fight with, I can't say that name, Evloev?
Evloev?
Yeah.
That's how I say it.
It's a hard name. But he's done everything great since, and, he's...
Even that fight, he did great.
100%,
I almost could make the argument that
his stock went up in that loss, you know what
question.
I mean? Yeah. And I think, we see him tonight in this co-main event. You kind of took umbrage with it, Pearl, but a lot of people are backing Diego Lopez, and they say that this might be his true coming out party.
So many people have said Diego Lopez. They're so sure. I mean, he's the favorite in this, and I'm just a little blown away by that, considering all of Ortega's accolades and the dog that's in him and the wars that he's been through and the fighters that he's faced and competed against, the level that he's competed at. I am just a little blown away by that he's the underdog in this one.
Let's take a look at the odds very quickly from our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Head over there, sign up, and get $150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code FightPass. Brian Ortega plus 120, the underdog to Diego Lopez, minus 142. B-Mac, do you think that's the right line?
Yeah, I do think that's a pretty accurate line. I mean, it's a close fight either way. So I just think if it turns into a ground fight, if it turns into a fight on the ground, I think Ortega has got what it takes. And I do think that fight's going to hit the ground multiple times.
Do you think he's competitive on the feet?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Ortega has shown that he has really strong striking as well. I mean, we don't know that he's not got better striking than Lopez. He's just been tested at a higher level.
Right.
So far.
I agree with that.
And so we get to see a lot more of what he's capable of against high-level competition. Oh, it's getting dicey out there.
So I think the one thing that is very interesting is, can Ortega deal with the athleticism of Lopez?
Can he deal with the momentum of Lopez?
Momentum,
that's what I'm thinking.
athleticism,
I'm on the train. Yeah.
As his speed, his strength, his power, the way he moves. I feel like Ortega is a grappler that grabs you and holds on and likes a little slower pace style of a fight.
Yes.
And Diego is very dynamic. And that is one question that is intriguing to me: is can he slow that down? Does he have the ability to slow down the athleticism of Lopez?
Makes sense, and that's why I'm on the Lopez train, because he's just so explosive, so fast. And I love that when you have that momentum, you don't hesitate.
Right.
And Ortega, those wars, they do cause you to hesitate. You start to look for those moments, and then that's all it takes, and then Diego's, wow, and he takes advantage of it. So, I mean, Lopez will do that, So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, Lopez does have that killer instinct, I think, on a different level.
There's no pause. It just, boom, it goes and explodes.
Well, there is a pause for you guys. We're going to let you guys get out of here and enjoy the rest of this fight here between Feely and Swanson. We'll see you back here for the watch along, gents.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, I'll see
Thank
you guys
you.
back in a little bit.
All right, thanks, B-Mac. While they jump out and we get 2 others to jump in, I want to remind you right now you can save 35% off the annual plan over at UFC Fight Pass. Get a whole year for just $61.99. Normal retail price $95.99. So
That
huge
is
value
amazing.
there.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
is
big
huge.
deal. It's almost as big of a deal as the 2 men that are joining us right now. We're going to hang out with Chase Hooper, an OG Hall of Famer down the way, Don Fry, getting his headset on. Gentlemen, we've arrived at UFC 303, the culmination of a phenomenal international fight week. How we doing, Don?
I'm doing okay, Burner.
Yeah?
How are you?
Good.
Had to have Chase sit there between me and the gal there because she couldn't keep her hands off me earlier tonight.
I heard the pickup lines.
Crime and
I also heard you picking fights with like Jake Paul on the main stage
she
today.
was melting in my hands with those pickup lines.
Is that true?
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Don, I have a question for you. We're here. We're in International Fight Week. We have all these events going on. Did you ever, when you were fighting, and back in your days, did you ever imagine the sport to be where it is? And how do you feel, like, where it is now? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, you played such a big part in this.
No, I didn't imagine this being here at all, I'll tell you. You know, like I said, they were trying to shut it down
Right.
Right.
back when I was fighting. And
Yeah.
they did for a while, actually. And heck, you didn't expect this to be anything like this. Now it's the biggest sport in the world. It's unbelievable.
You fought over in Japan, and we were just talking with Jens Pulver about hearing the crowd when you're fighting. When you went over to Japan, there were 50,000 people in those arenas sometimes, but they were way quieter than this crowd is when the fight was happening. What was that like when you get them? Like when you were fighting Takayama, like what was that? Could you hear the crowd?
Yeah, that was the first time because generally you would hear ooh,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it's real subtle. But yeah, they went nuts. They went nuts for the Takayama fight, and they should have. The guy was a great fighter. He's phenomenal, and he made that fight.
Chase Hooper coming off a pretty big win. You had to hear that crowd in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. That was my first one out of the Apex in a while, so it was a big change up. And, being higher up on the card, getting that full, like, St. Louis packed the place. That house was full, by the first couple fights. So they had some great energy, and that's always fun. Especially, being the American guy in, the Midwest, the very patriotic, fighting a Russian guy.
Right.
They were all on my side for that one, so that was a hell of an experience.
Yeah.
Did it give you energy? Did you feed off of that energy from that crowd?
Honestly,
Or were you
like
focused?
during the fight, I'm kind of tunnel vision.
Okay.
I was honestly more just like, Keith, why are we still fighting here? But no, at the end when they're all cheering, it makes the win more worthwhile than just like, something like a little smaller show where it's just like, 10 people are like, nice job, and then you go home. Where this, it felt like a win, and I'm looking forward to hopefully another crowd show for sure.
What do you think the crowd's going to be like tonight in our main event, Pro?
Oh my goodness, it's going to be surreal. I was at their first meeting in New York, and I was in the crowd, and it was unreal. It was amazing. I was fortunate to be right behind Alex Pajeda in his corner, and it was so cool to watch. It was so cool. The crowd was crazy. They were actually kind of quiet though when they were fighting in the moment, and then you saw GD go down. So it was so intriguing. I can only imagine this crowd is going to be insane, especially both of these fighters, how they have fought since then, and the build-up, not because they're fighting each other, but respectively in their own careers.
Yeah. Don, what do you expect from our main event? These guys both coming off wins. They fought
time.
not too long ago one another. Do you expect them to get after it? Is it going to be more of a sort of plotting and feeling out process between the two guys?
Maybe in the first half of the first minute.
Yeah.
After that, I think they're going to get after it. I mean, they both knows each other's style.
Yeah.
And they both want to win. And it's just, I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I do. I think these guys are going to get after it, man.
I'm interested to know, do you guys think that this fight is going to go the full 5?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we'll get a
They
finish.
both took it on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
It could, right?
It could. If it does, I think it's because that process that Don said maybe last half a minute. Maybe it lasts a little bit longer. Maybe it lasts 2 rounds. But I think we get a finish tonight. I think we get a decisive finish.
I do too. I do too.
I think short notice bodes well for that. People don't have the 5-round cardio on 2 weeks' notice. So somebody's going to gas and somebody's going to take over.
They're also proven finishers, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if the
Right.
cardio's on point, you connect on the button and go down. It doesn't matter how good your cardio is. So
It's going to be like a drag race instead of like a NASCAR, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to get after it.
I like it. I like a good quarter mile,
Yeah, exactly.
5 seconds of fury.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly, yeah.
My wife says the same thing. She doesn't say that.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if I'm more impressed that you threw that out there so casually, or if you threw the disclaimer and saved a little bit of face there. That's good. That's good.
Well, I'm just saying she doesn't like it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I got that same complaint from her.
Oh, man.
Pearl, save us.
That was awesome.
We're having a good time. What's not a good time, though, is I heard Ortega and Lopes is off.
Don't you dare say that.
I don't think, I think it's real.
No way.
No, it's
They
not.
said Ortega's off with illness.
Who said that?
Are you serious?
I just saw it on ESPN over there.
Are you serious?
I am not even joking. Ask.
Can we get a clarification on that? Oh, all right.
Nobody's saying anything, huh?
Dang, you just ruined my night.
I'm sorry. It ruined my night, too.
Wow.
It really put a damper on things.
I mean, we still got some great fights. We
Oh,
got this
for
main
sure.
event. I mean, that's still. I mean, Journalist of the Year again.
Hey, there we go.
Is someone looking it up?
I don't
Can
know.
someone look it up?
Well, there's nothing really to confirm right now. It's just
Oh, okay.
running
Just a
around.
nasty rumor.
Speculation?
Yeah. Don Fry, you willing to jump in our co-main event?
No. Only,
It's an off night. We'll let
only
you
if I get to fight a girl.
You don't want to fight me.
Lopes has long
Yes,
hair.
I do.
I'll choke you out.
I would love that. I'd pay. Actually, yeah, how much money would it cost me?
Oh, all right.
Do you recall taking any last-minute fights and what that was like for you?
Yeah, I took last-minute fights, and it's like
What's the mindset? For me, I feel like I've taken last-minute fights, and it's just like, fuck it, I'm going in. I'm gonna go, and I'm going in here to throw. And there's not a lot of skill. I don't really care about the game plan. Let me just go fight and see what happens. I don't know what it was like for you.
It wasn't a game plan for me, It's just like get in there and burn my balls off until until I had nothing left.
How often in Japan, Don, was it you knew you were going to have a fight, but you didn't know who you would be fighting? Because I heard the matchmakers in Pride would do that quite often. They'd be like, yeah, we'll have you on the card, or we'll have you come out in corner, and all of a sudden you find yourself like the co-main event.
Right, they change the opponent on you 4 times.
Yeah.
It was like the last Pride fight. They came over to interview me, 4 days before the fight. And so they interviewed me about the Pride and blah, blah, blah. And then they said, oh, by the way, you want to fight? Sagaraba, or Saga Kabara-san.
Yeah.
What's a personal favor, wants you to fight for him, okay, for a personal favor. And then come find out I got screwed, got stabbed in the back,
Right.
And the next day I go to collect my money, and he's on the phone. And I go, something's wrong.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I answer, hello. He says, Don Fry's-on. Yesterday, Japanese IRS come to my office. They're downstairs waiting on you right now in the lobby. Crap. So I had to pay $100,000 to get out of Japan.
Wow.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good days, yeah.
Good old days.
Lose the fight, get your ass kicked, and then have to pay money to get out of town.
Oh, my gosh.
Chase, have you ever even seen a Pride fight on tape?
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorites is Nogueira Bob Sapp.
Oh, it's a great one. The pile driver.
Oh, yeah.
That
Classic.
was awesome. It's amazing.
Bob was a monster, and both Nogueira brothers are couple of the greatest fighters.
Oh, yeah.
Ever enter
Yeah.
the cage of the octagon.
Yeah, Minotauro, I think, is a top 5 heavyweight all
Right,
time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And his brother's top 5 light heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think Minotauro only got into jiu-jitsu because he got hit by a truck.
Yeah.
It was a way to,
save his life.
Exactly. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, wrapping up here, we're getting closer and closer to our main card start of UFC 303.
Excited.
Chase Hooper, I'm curious your thoughts. We haven't talked about it on this segment of Extra Rounds with you yet, but Ian Gary takes on MVP. What do you think about that fight?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tall test for Gary. I mean, it's impressive how dominant MVP was against someone like Kevin Holland, especially on the feet. Like he made it look easy
Right.
against a guy like Kevin Holland, who's also really tall, really lanky, has great boxing. We've seen him beat some really top-notch guys, and that was a crazy statement from MVP just coming in here from Bellator. And Ian Gary has a very similar style, more that point fighting style. I just think MVP is a lot more, well-rounded in that style. So I think, if Gary is wanting to go in there, he's going to have to start grappling a little bit. And I think shoot box is a great place for it. Training with guys like Charles Oliveira.
Yep.
Tons of great jiu-jitsu talent down there. So that would, honestly, I would be not super shocked if that's Gary's game plan coming into this fight. I think that'd be his way to victory.
There are a lot of people, Pearl, that are interested in what MVP can do. The time is now for him where he's at in his career. If he's going to make a huge run, it's got to really get going. And no better way to sort of spark that run than by spoiling that record of Ian Gary. Can MVP get it done?
He absolutely can. I think that the footwork, the movement that he has, the positioning of where he is when he's striking, his ability to get in and out, and that he's got such an awkward stance. He doesn't have a traditional MMA stance, and that's very hard to read. He switches stances, his movement, it's hard to read him because of that stance. And so I think that we know he has knockout power.
Yeah.
He has the ability to knock you out with something crazy. So I think that, it's a big test. Like he said, it's a big test for Ian Gary. If there's one small hiccup, MVP can totally take advantage of that. But I'm interested to see what happens with this. Can Ian Gary stop the movement? Because if Ian Gary can get a step ahead or match the footwork and the positioning, then I think it might be a long night for MVP.
We'll find out what happens. It is all starting top of the hour. One more look at your odds courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. MVP, the plus 120 underdog, if you want to even call it that, to Ian Gary. I mean, look at this fight card, guys. This is a pick'em fight card in so many ways. Talent from top to bottom. Let's wrap up by getting some picks. Main event, Don Fry, who wins?
The Brazilian. I go with the Brazilian.
Poatan.
Yeah.
What do you got, Chase Hooper?
I'm taking Poatan.
Poatan.
It's a unanimous decision here on the panel. Alex Pajeda looking to get it done. Co-main event might not be happening. Let's talk about. Let's get a pick in the Anthony Smith, Roland Delitze, Lionheart, Don Fry. Can you ever vote against a guy with the nickname Lionheart?
Sure you can.
Okay.
Sure. You saw the original movie? Oh, it's pathetic.
All right, you got a pick in that one?
I'm picking Anthony Smith. I like him. I'm picking with my heart.
All right, you're Lionheart. Is it lying to you or is it being truthful? That's a question too. Pro Gonzalez. Delitze.
Yes.
All right. Ian Gary or MVP?
I'm going to go MVP.
Same, MVP.
Going MVP? You're our MVP, Don.
I'll be different. I'll go with the other one.
All right, perfect.
Just be different.
All right.
I like that.
Don likes to be different.
Are we gonna predict the co-main?
Well, I don't know if it's happening.
Let's just do it. Let's just have some. Let's be wishful
Well-
thinking here. Let's be positive, guys. Let's manifest this fight right now. Come on, all of us. Put your hands together. Close your eyes.
We need the sidekicks back here.
Yeah, we had the psychics yesterday. Yeah. Back in there.
And let's hope this fight really does happen. And if it does, I'm gonna go Lopez.
Well, now that I hear that Brian Ortega might be sick, I'm definitely going Lopez.
Yeah, I would have gone Lopez for sure.
Yeah.
Do you
That was
have
my
Lopez
pick
or
either
Brian
way.
Was it?
Who might be sick?
Ortega.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Ortega, man. Like,
Me too.
I can't jump ship just because
Right.
he's
I
sick.
just jumped ship. I did just. I'm gonna stick with Ortega.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All
sticking with
right.
Ortega.
You got to stay true.
I gotta stay true.
Perfect.
Ortega.
All right. Well, that pretty much does it for us. We want to say thank you guys for doing the pre-show. Hopefully we'll catch up with you. International Fight Week still rolling on here in Las Vegas, so we are just about ready to turn things over to the watch-along. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, Jens Pulver and a crew of regulars coming through to get you through UFC 303. For Pearl Gonzalez, Chase Hooper, Don Fry, I'm TJ DeSantis. We'll see you a little bit later on for more
Three,
extra rounds right here on UFC Fight Pass.
Hollywood fight night, jiu-jitsu, the